Okay. Today we're going to talk about the specialized cells. I mean, last time when we started to talk about cells, we talked about the general cells, which were God created them while the living organism for the animal or the plant was still small, not specialized, not adapted. I mean, that now we are going to take the animal cells which have been specialized or adapted or they changed in their structure in a way or other to perform a specific function. One of these cells that we're going to talk about is red blood cell or RBCs. The red blood cells, how they look like? They do have a structure which is called biconcave. I mean, they are curved to inside from both directions. Also, the cell decided not to have any nucleus or no organelles. They don't have any organelles or nucleus. In order for these two things to increase the surface area, to have more room to carry more hemoglobin, which is the red pigment, which is going to do the function of the red blood cells. So again, for the cell to be having enough space to carry more out of this red pigment, which is called the hemoglobin, it decided to make the cell only with the cell membrane, the cytoplasm, and no nucleus or no organelles. Also, it made its shape this way to carry more hemoglobin as well to increase the surface area. طيب. These red blood cells, this is a side view if you're going to look at it from sideways. What if you're going to look at it from a front view? It will appear like this. This dotted thing, it means that it is curved to inside from both directions. It looks like donuts, but a donuts which is not open from the middle. A red blood cells, its function is to carry oxygen from the lung to the cells. So the cells can take this oxygen and give it to the mitochondria for aerobic respiration, for the mitochondria to do energy and supply the whole cell with the energy it needs. Okay? Right. Red blood cells, they do have a lifespan of 120 days or from 3 to 4 months. So the red blood cell, it can only work for around 120 days. And after these 120 days, the red blood cells are going to go to the liver. And here in the liver, the red blood cell is going to be broken down. It will break down the cell membrane around it, and it will leave the hemoglobin. This is abbreviation for hemoglobin. I'm the only one who's going to use it. Don't write it in the questions. The hemoglobin, it will be in the liver, and this hemoglobin is made from two substances, iron and protein. The iron and the protein are going to be separated from each others, and the iron is going to be stored in the liver, while the proteins are going to turn into the simplest form, which is called amino acids. Sometimes you call it amino acid, but the right pronunciation is amino acids. Amino acids is made, or amino acids are made from elements which are called hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. These are the elements where the amino acids are made from. But what is the problem? The protein is going to be digested to the simplest form and it will be amino acids. Why not to store amino acids in the body? For the body to use it in any protein synthesis, even if it's going to manufacture new hemoglobin. But the problem is our body cannot store amino acids. Why? Because it has a toxic part which is called nitrogen. This part is toxic to your body. So amino acids cannot be stored. When you are going to eat even protein, your body will use the amount of amino acids that it needs for today, and the rest, they have to be broken down and released out of your body. For the part of the protein, which is making the hemoglobin, the nitrogen, by the help of the liver, it will go through a process which is called deamination. By the way, D in Latin يعني removal. So the liver is going to remove the nitrogen part out of the amino acids. And it will form out of it a green, yellow fluid which will be stored inside an organ called gallbladder, which is المرارة, and we will take it later in digestive system that it help in lipid or fat digestion, which is called emulsification. So emulsification, it means that emulsification, that the fats are going to be digested. Okay, fats or lipids, two words for the same meaning. Fine. So what about the rest of the part? It looks like glucose. This is why it will turn into carbohydrate and also be stored inside the liver. So these are three, okay, uh, major functions of the liver. By the end of the curriculum, you will find in the notes one of the pages which will collect all the functions for the liver throughout the whole curriculum. One of these functions, that liver store iron, it stores sugar or glucose in form of a substance called the glycogen. We will take it later in details. And also it makes deamination to produce a substance called bile, which will be stored in the gallbladder. This is for the red blood cells. What is the benefit out of this for your body? If you are a smoker or you will smoke carbon monoxide, what is this gas? This gas is colorless, odorless, and it's toxic, extremely toxic. It's produced out of burning, but incomplete combustion or incomplete burning of substances. And also, it is produced from smoking cigarettes. Okay, it is called carbon monoxide. Monoxide. This carbon monoxide, when red blood cells they see them, they form with them a stable compound. So they prefer binding to them and not leaving them. But guys, wait for a second. What is the meaning of a stable compound and unstable compound? My relationship between me and you is unstable. Unstable. What do I mean? I mean that every time I'm going to go to your session and will leave you after it. But the relationship between you and your mom is a stable relationship. It means that even if you don't like your mom, she's your mom, yani your entire life. This happens here with the hemoglobin and the carbon monoxide. When the hemoglobin is going to see the carbon monoxide, they will form a stable compound which is called carboxyhemoglobin. This carboxyhemoglobin will join together and they will never leave each other's. And this will stop the effect or the function of the red blood cells. Yes, we do have red blood cells with hemoglobin, but they are not functioning because they are busy carrying another material which is toxic to your body. And this comes here, the suffocation. People who smoke, if they are going to smoke lots, and even if a person is stuck in a place which is, it has a fire, he will die. Why? Because all red blood cells will be occupied with carbon monoxide, and by this, no red blood cells and hemoglobin will carry oxygen from lung to cells to do aerobic respiration and produce energy. The benefit out of what happens here inside the lung, inside the liver, is that the red blood cells, the old ones, the damaged ones, are going to be broken down in the liver after 120 days, and new red blood cells are going to be will be formed in the bone marrow. What is a bone marrow? What is found inside your bone. طبعا not all your blood in the same moment are going to break down when new ones will be formed. Like gradually 10 and 10 are formed, another 10 and 10 are formed, all of the day and night. Fine. And this will renew your blood. And this goes for the red blood cells. The rest of the blood cells, we will take them later with a topic which is called circulatory system. But let us go here to another cell which is specialized also inside your body to perform a specific function.